Hello, everybody. Hey, welcome to Converting Intent. It's a new podcast that I'm really trying to get run up here that is going to cover a little bit more of the tactics and some of the ideas and some of the strategy that you can use inside of your business as a business leader to be able to take some of the information that you're getting from all the different marketing campaigns that you might run in your company and turning it into actual profitable sales inside of your business. Far too often, we wind up getting distracted with all of these other ideas and concepts that can make the whole process really complicated. When at the end of the day, as a business owner, as a business leader, you're responsible for making a revenue and a profit number that helps keep your business going. I really wanted to be able to dive into this and give you some tactical actions here. On this first episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the disruptions that happen from just natural events. Recording this in Charlotte just at the crux of a snowstorm that hit down here, which really disrupted our whole economy locally here, our lives really. It's the worst snowstorm that has hit this area in 20 years. I am from Florida originally and spent a lot of my life up in Canada, in the Toronto and in the Vancouver area. Being down here for about 6 years, I never thought I would have seen as much snow and as much cold weather as we received. Yet at the same time, we had a lot of different people who were saying, in the news, do not go out on the roads because the city isn't set up for that kind of infrastructure. We're not used to the amount of snowfall. We got almost, I think, a foot to a foot and a half, depending on where you were in the Greater Charlotte area. And for the southern area of the United States, that's a really big area. And so, what that means, though, as a business owner, is we had two of these snowstorms that hit within a week of each other, and both times was complete ghost town. You could not find anybody, who was willing to make the drive on any major road here to be able to buy anything and shop for anything. A lot of people kind of huddled up. Even Walmart and some of the major box chains shut down about halfway through the day. They had people that were there that battled through the snow in order to be able to open up their locations, but there's no customers. So what's the point? We still have an issue now where we say, well, great, you lost out more or less of two large shopping weekends for of business. And it still affects people even if you're not in retail or you're not in B2C. If you're in B2B and you had a flight or you had a conference or you had a convention or you had a sales kickoff, are you still able to have all of the people present for those events in order to be able to make some sort of output? And so we really want to be able to talk about what do you do in that situation? So you're responsible for hitting a sales number, and yet half of your month is really taken up with two different weekends where you're not able to do business like that, and then the ensuing work that happens in the week afterwards. And so let's talk a little bit about what are some of the tactics that you might want to do during that period of time. Building your business is challenging enough. Dealing with customers, making sure that they receive the goods or services that you provide in an effective way that really represents your brand really creates enough challenges to begin with. At Conversion Store, we work with you and your leaders inside of your business to help make your business understood and be able to really show through the value that you provide in your marketplace. Our revenue engine includes consultative support, strategy services, and even the technical expertise to be able to make the most out of your CRM, your website, your social media efforts, and your marketing automation in order to present the right message at the right time to the right group of people who will become your strongest, most loyal customers. Visit us online at conversionstore.com to find out more information or click on the link below. Well, first of all, I think it's important to kind of understand that these disruptions happen quite often in northern parts of the country for that type of event, but they also happen, everywhere that you live. It's interesting, being from Florida, we'd have hurricanes and we'd have tropical storms and we'd have disruptions like that would come through. Last year was really bad if you were living in Florida. For There was two hurricanes that kind of hit back to back, and that really disrupted a lot of business in that whole state, caused a lot of damage. The entire state was considered a state of emergency during that period of time by the governor and was really shut down. And so, a lot of building that had to happen as a result of that, a rebuilding. But makes it hard to be able to kind of live and conduct your business basically if you are in that part of the country. And even if you're not in the United States, I've worked with people in this past year who were in the Asia Pacific area, and a typhoon hit their part of the country, and so they have to deal with business disruption that happens in that case. So one of the key things to understand is to be able to build into your business and into your marketing and your promotional plans about what to do in these sort of when these sort of situations emerge. And so there's two different things in terms of sources of thought around it. Number one, try and make sure that your business is financially prepared for this. That you have some kind of a financial nest egg, so that if you miss a month of profitability, that doesn't have a material impact on your business. The second part of it, though, is having a more proactive approach to kind of say, okay, what are the deals that I have that my sales team is working on right now that are mid to late funnel, right? So if you're in marketing, lifecycle marketing, and you're thinking, okay, who are the sales qualified leads that I have that we're just working on being able to close right now? If you're in a B2C type of emotion, and you don't have that type of data per se, then it's worth kind of looking at the type of disruption that happened and who is the business serving, right? What kind of customers do you have? If you have Etsy customers and you're building, customized home goods, or maybe you're Wayfair or somebody like that, and you're trying to kind of find items for your home, what are the items that you'll need after a snowstorm? What are the items that you'll want to be able to, that you'll be looking at buying in the event of the next season that's coming up, right? So if you're in the winter time, maybe you want to have something that's like some sort of a limited time offer around a spring promotion, right? What are the next holidays or events that are coming up? Recording this in February, so it could be Valentine's Day or Easter would be good points around that. And so that brings us to another point, really, to kind of look at how do you factor in the seasonality that might exist. And for those of you who don't know, seasonality is one of those phenomena that occur inside of business where you see a rise or a fall or a shift in terms of the different level of interest around whatever your product or service offering is. If you're in landscaping, that's going to happen around the summertime. Not a lot of people want landscaping work done in the dead of winter. Cold weather, frost prevents any sort of growth, any sort of landscaping around that period of time. And if you're further north, it might be snowfall. It might be other impacts that affect that type of work. So there's seasonality involved in it. If you're in retail, here in the United States, we have Thanksgiving as a holiday, and then the day after that is called Black Friday, and that's usually kind of a pseudo holiday. That's more of like a shopping holiday. Why do they call it Black Friday? Well, it was called Black Friday because really this is the time of year that most retailers have reached the net profit, a positive net profit out of the course of the year. That's when they finally go into the black, if you will, from a financial term. on their profit and loss statement for their whole performance out of the year. Is there's a huge push to be able to do shopping leading up to the Christmas holiday season, and so a lot of that shopping happens. A lot of discounts happen on that day after the American Thanksgiving holiday, and so that's called Black Friday. So it's important to be able to understand, though, what is the seasonality, if any exists, inside of your business, right? If you're in a firm that's a commodity, for example, you may not have seasonality in your business. It might be such a case if you're selling bread or or wheat or milk or other items that are considered energy could be a commodity if you want to think about utilities. Although most utilities, at least here in the U.S., are considered monopolies, just by the nature of of how those services work, from a cost standpoint. So it's unlikely that anybody that's listening to this is necessarily in that type of work per se. But you still want to be understanding that you may have some seasonality, or then even if you don't have seasonality in terms of the actual volume of revenue, there might be certain offers that are more appealing in a certain time of year. And so I'd encourage you to really kind of take a little bit of time to understand what that seasonality is in your business, and then make changes to your marketing plan or your sales plan in order to be able to account for some of those preferences that you see at different times of the year. It's important to note that you could go about this two different ways. You might do promotions to be able to tailor to the offers that might be more acceptable, that in a period of time that there is seasonality. You could go the other way as well too and say, well, if there's times where we know that we're not getting a lot of demand, let's put our promotional efforts in terms of being able to boost that part of our business, that time of the year where we normally don't get business because we have excess capacity, for example. And so that's another tactic that you might want to take. Which one you choose? Well, it really depends on your capabilities of your business, maybe the amount of capacity that you might have in order to be able to fulfill certain customers or orders. If you run a bakery or you run a mechanic shop, you only have so many bays available to service so many cars in a given period of time over a month. You only have such a kitchen that handles so much supplies to be able to build to create your baked goods and be able to sell those as well too. So you need to kind of consider those issues as you're looking at that. And so, if you are interested in any of this, we've put that into a discussion that'll be on our website, on our blog at conversionstore.com. And we'll also link to the article so that you can, read a little bit more in depth about some of the tactics that you can do here. Another final thing that I kind of want to mention off here too is in terms of being able to understand what are some of the options that you have available to you in your business is you don't always have to work through some of these conditions reactively. What do I mean by that? Well, we don't necessarily know what the weather is going to be next week, right? Even if you watch on the news, you always hear the weatherman say, "Well, we have a predictive forecast, and here's what we think is going to happen." 28 hours, 48 hours, 5 days, 7-day forecast, right? And you always hear them say, kind of, here's the probability of it being a sunny day or a cloudy day or a snowy day or a rainy day, etc., etc. You don't have to wait to see what that weather forecast is actually going to be in order to be able to start making some plans about how you would respond to that. So if you take some time to be able to pre-build some playbooks and be able to say, here's what we do in a rainy weekend. We run a home improvement company. We're a a location at Home Depot, for example, right? When Home Depot has these different types of situations, they have limited time offers that are used to be able to populate what their flyers are like, what their radio ads might be like, in order to be able to say, hey, we're going to run a spring promotion at this time of year. We're going to run a promotion on maybe interior paint, or maybe in the summer months you might have wood stain to be able to stain a deck or a patio outside, or do landscaping work, or do siding or a roof treatment or something along those lines, right? And you can build those type of playbooks into your marketing campaigns as well too, so that you can easily respond back to them. One final piece that I'll kind of share with you here is a couple of years ago, we went through and built out sort of a use case where you can actually go in and record what kind of marketing playbooks you want to be able to run, and actually have that tied into live weather forecasts. So in this example, we took a Marketo instance, which is our marketing automation platform of choice back then, and then connected that into a weather service like AccuWeather, and basically used a API to connect a marketing automation platform to a weather prediction service. And in that way, you could say if you were running marketing campaigns across 12 or 15 or 50 or 500 different marketplaces, Marketo or Active Campaign, if you're a smaller business, could actually take that information, run it through AccuWeather, understand what the weather forecast is going to be in your particular marketplace, and then tailor a marketing message specifically for the type of weather that you're going to get. So have a really interesting video that was a use case, and you can feel free to take a look at that, and maybe you use that as well, if you want to. But it'll give you a good sense about how you might be able to recreate this. We also have a sample of an event that happened like this. It was at a Chevy Buick GMC dealership outside of the metropolitan Atlanta area, and they had a country music megastar that was there, that was performing a live concert before they were doing an event that evening, and a tornado hit. And so halfway through his concert, they had to shut down everything. Everybody had to go indoors, and they basically went from playing a live concert to basically doing a meet and greet and a event where he signed autographs for all the different fans that showed up. So completely different, completely kind of off script from the initial event that they were promoting, but they just made the best with it. So you can build some of those different types of campaigns and different types of backup plans, if you will, into your marketing, in order to be able to have a way to be able to kind of recover the work that you've done in terms of promoting and the cost that you've done in that, and still get a return or some sort of engagement, and build on some of the brand loyalty, and just build on the overall positive experiences for your company, and yet still be able to pivot at the drop of a hat around the event, and what type of what sort of things would happen with it. So I hope this has been helpful for you. My name is Michael Tucker. I'm a marketing automations expert and a marketing technology expert at Conversion Store, and we've been around for 10 years. We help companies of all sizes get the most out of the tools, the marketing tech, and the sales tech that they use inside of their businesses. And so happy to be able to help you with any challenges or questions that you have, and you're more than welcome to reach out to us at conversionstore.com, and we'll have a link to be able to look at to contact us, or to take a look at the show notes from this particular podcast. So welcome aboard, and we're happy to have you.